Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I am Sayyid Akif Shah, lecturer finance at Institute of Business Studies, Kohart University of Science and Technology. The title of this course is Business Research Methods, and course code for this subject is MS312. This is lecture number 27, and the topic for today's discussion is methods of scaling, in which specifically we will deal with the ranking scales. The outline of this lecture consists of the discussion related with the method of scaling, under the umbrella of which we shall discuss the ranking scale, which consists of the paired comparison, force choice method of collecting the attitudinal responses over the object, event, a person in a research, and third, a comparative scale for collecting the attitudinal responses. Basically, this lecture is in continuity to the previous lecture in which we have discussed the research process, and we are in the final phase of discussing the method of scaling and collection of data, after which we will analyze the situation and then write down the research reports on our finding and conclusion. So if the research consists of collecting the data regarding the attitudinal responses, like for example, if a researcher is interested to collect the attitudinal responses over the job satisfaction of the employees, if the top management is going to incorporate the new MIS system, then what will be the satisfaction level of the employees working in that organization? In other way around, let me refine the research question so that you may understand the situation and what kind of attitudinal responses the researcher is interested in. The statement or the research question may look like: if there is a new MIS system has been launched in an organization, then what will be the satisfaction level of the employees working in that organization? So such kind of research requires the researchers to find out the attitudinal responses of the subjects towards objects, event, or person. So the subject discussed in this situation is the installation of new MIS system, and the researcher is interested to collect the attitudinal responses or the behavior of the employees working in that organization regarding their satisfaction level from their jobs along with the new MIS system. So the method of scaling basically deals with, and it is necessary to examine the method of scaling because the research might require you to do that, and this method of scaling is used to elicit the attitudinal responses regarding the subjects towards object, event, or person. So here the event was change in MIS system and the attitudinal responses of the people working in that organization. So basically we have two methods for collecting the attitudinal responses, and these two categories of attitudinal scales, which must not be confused with the four different types of scales what we have studied in the previous lectures, which were nominal scale, ordinal scale, interval scale, and the ratio scale. It must not be get confused with those types of scale, because ultimately by utilizing these categorical attitudinal scale consist of rating scales and the ranking scales, we are actually dealing with those four types of scales. So basically we have two types or two categories of attitudinal scales when the researcher is interested to figure out the responses, attitudes, or behavior of the respondents. So there are two scales. One is known as rating scales and the other one is known as ranking scales. The discussion upon the rating scales and its different types, probably the 10 different types, has been already discussed in my previous lectures. So if you are interested to know about what is rating scales and what are different methods of conducting research with the help of collecting data by scaling it with rating scales, so you can go back to my previous lecture and listen to it. However, the emphasis of this lecture is on ranking scales and different types of methods to collect data under this umbrella. The rating scales have several response categories and used to elicit responses with regard to object, events, or person under studies. So here we have several response category in the rating scale. However, in the ranking scale, we make comparison between or amongst the object, event, or person in order to elicit the preferred choice. Ranking scales will be discussed in detail in this lecture. So we can differentiate the rating scale from ranking scale on the basis of these several response categories are there in the rating scale. However, in the ranking scales, we have to make comparison between if there are two subjects or among the object if there are more than two subjects of subject under study in order to elicit or to figure out the preferred choices or response and then to rank them with each other. Let's discuss the ranking scale in detail. The ranking scales are used to tap preferences between two or among more objects or item. So as we are dealing with the preferences and choices amongst the objects or events, therefore this ranking scale is known as ordinal in nature because we are ranking or prioritizing the different responses provided by the respondents. However, such ranking may not give the definitive clues to some of the answer. What does it mean? With the help of example, we'll come to know that what is meant by definitive clues. In some of the cases, the researcher is not sure about, even though he may be able to rank the preferences or responses of the respondents. Basically, we have three types of ranking scale. One is known as paired comparison, forced choice is the second one, and a comparative scale is the third type of ranking scale. Let's discuss one by one in detail. Let us discuss the ranking scale example. There are four products of a company. So there are four product lines actually. The manager seeks information that would help decide which product line get the most attention. From the respondent, the manager may elicit the responses regarding the four product lines. Another way around, I can say the manager is interested to get the feedback over its four product line from the respondents so that to find out which product line must be given the most attention in respect of advertisement, in respect of innovation, in respect of target market selection, in respect of price and quality emphasis. So the reason could be any of what I have mentioned over here as a couple of examples. So the respondent reply upon first product is that 30% of the respondents, like this survey consists of, let's suppose 100 respondents, then out of 100, 35 respondents have chosen the product first to be given the most attention. 25% or 25 people or respondent choose the product line second must be given the most attention. And similarly for third and fourth product line, 20% or we can say the 20 respondents, if there are 100 people or 100 respondents in this research or survey. So the 20% of the respondents choose for the product third to be given the most emphasis, and similarly 20% or 20 respondent has chosen the fourth product to be given the utmost intention. And then the sum up of all these four respondents category given as the 100% response from the respondents. So we can now, we have actually ranked them out and prioritize the maximum number of responses given by the respondents that the first product should be emphasized. However, what was the meaning of definitive clue? So here we can explain that manager cannot conclude that the first product is the most preferred choice by the respondents. Why? Because there are 65% of respondents who did not choose that product. So we cannot infer that the most emphasis should be given to the product line first. We have to use alternative method in this regard with the help of fourth choice, paired comparison, and the comparative scales to elicit the desired answer. So this was the meaning of not a definitive clue, because we cannot, or the manager cannot infer that the first product line should be given the most attention. The reason is that there are 65% or 65 people are there in this respondent or this survey or this questionnaire who have not selected the product line first as to be given the most attention by the manager. So let's discuss the three types of ranking scales. The first one is known as paired comparison. What is paired comparison? The paired comparison scale is used when among a small number of objects, like 2, 3 or 4 types of objects are there, so that the respondents are asked to choose between the two objects at a time. So we have to, or the researcher will have to, paired out the product lines, like product line 1 or 2 is most important. Now there is no other choice, so we can make a paired comparison so that to find out which product line should be given the most emphasis. So for instance, in the previous example, we can make the pair during the paired comparison that respondent consistently show a preference for product 1 over the rest of the product, like over product 2, 3 and 4. So we can make three comparison, paired comparison, that is to product 1 in comparison to 2, product 1 in comparison to the product 3, and then product 1 in comparison to product 4. So in these three paired comparison, the researcher may elicit the desired answer to know that how many people are preferring to give the utmost intention for product line first in this organization. Hence, the manager reliably can understand which product line demands his utmost attention. So we can make comparison of two objects with each other so that the total number of respondents may either select one product in comparison to the other product in order to have the desired outcome or desired attitudinal response from the respondents. We have the second method of ranking scale known as fourth choice method. In the fourth choice, it enables the respondent to rank the objects relative to the one another among the alternative provided. This is easier for the respondent, particularly if the number of choices to be ranked is limited. Like if you ask the respondent to rank 4 different objects, products, or the policies, so it is quite easier for the respondent to select or to rank number first upon the product line selection, then may select the second one, third one, so on and so forth. However, if the number of choices are in larger capacity, in larger number, then it is very difficult for the respondent to rank them properly. Let us take an example of fourth choice to explain this method of collecting the attitudinal responses or preferences. The example states or asks us to rank the following magazines that you would like to subscribe to in order of preference. So here the preference or choice preference of the respondent has been asked in this example to rank the magazine which has been preferred by you to subscribe. And the method to categorize this preference is to assign number 1 for the most preferred choice and number 4 for the least preferred choice. So if somebody is interested in Times magazine, then he will select or put number 1 in front of Time. And if the person is least interested to subscribe a magazine like People, he will select point number 4 to be mentioned on People's magazine. And similarly, we can also make our preferred choice between these number 1 and 4. So we have our third or second choice for Fortune magazine, and similarly third choice of preference may be given to the Prevention magazine. So this is the way how you can force the respondent to choose or to rank their preference choice, and this will help to elicit the desired attitudinal response, and the researcher will be enabled to find out the answer to its problem under study. We have the third method known as comparative scale. This is the third method of collecting attitudinal responses under the broader topic of ranking the scales. Comparative scales actually provides you a benchmark or a point of reference so that to assess the attitudes towards the current objects, events, or situations. So basically here the researcher or the manager who is conducting a research and trying to elicit the desired attitudinal responses may provide you a certain benchmark or reference point, and then the relevant question may be asked to elicit the attitudinal response. Let us take an example to understand it in full detail. The example or research question states that in a volatile financial environment, volatile means when there is not consistency and there is chance of either outperforming the market or in order to earn the abnormal profit, and similarly it has the high chances of bearing a big loss. So when there is greater volatility or increase and decrease, rise and fall in the financial environment, and there is uncertainty. So in such kind of situation, the researcher asks the respondent to compare two stocks. This is the point of reference or benchmark, and then ask the desired question that how wise or useful it is to invest in the treasury bonds. We knew that the treasury bonds are issued by the government of the respective countries. So these are quite secure kind of investment in comparison to investing in the stock or shares of different listed companies in a volatile financial environment. So as this is a safer investment in comparison to the volatile financial market share or stock investments, therefore the researcher is interested to find out on the basis of following scale. He asks you to please encircle the appropriate response that how wise it is or useful it is to invest in the treasury bond with respect to, or if you compare that investment to only stock investment. And the scale states that you can select between 1 and 5. The 1 state that it is more useful to invest in the treasury bonds in comparison to the stock investment if there is a volatile financial environment. Similarly, the second edge response, which states that it is less useful to compare or to invest in the treasury bond in comparison to the stocks investment in a volatile financial environment. So now here in this example or in this research study, the researcher is interested to elicit or to collect the attitudinal responses of different investors in a volatile financial environment in comparison to certain benchmark category. And here the benchmark or the point of reference for investment is the stocks in a volatile financial market. So if the researcher collects the data regarding the attitudes of the investors' investment in the treasury bond on the following scales, that one states the more useful to invest in treasury bond in comparison to stock, and the 5 states less useful to invest in the treasury bond in comparison to the stock, and third state about it is about the same usefulness either to go for one or another one. Such kind of attitudinal researcher may can select this second option and 4 option as well. Since there are 5 different scales are there, so we can actually rank them out. Therefore, it is an ordinal nature data. The one state the high strength are highly useful, and the fourth may be fewer or satisfactorily, or we can say moderately useful, and the fifth state that it is not useful at all. So we can rank the attitudinal responses of the respondent in this comparative scale as well. Therefore, it is known as ranking scale, or we can also categorize this in the interval data collection or interval scale of data collection. This was all about how we can elicit the desired responses if the research study asks us to collect the attitudinal responses on the basis of ranking scales, which further state or enable or provide different 3 types of mechanism for the researcher to collect the responses on the basis of either paired comparison, forced choices, or a comparative scale. This was all about the discussion related with ranking scale. Thank you very much for listening to this lecture. If you have any question, you can ask on KCMS, or another way around, you can also email me on my official email address as mentioned in the footer of this lecture. Good luck for the day. Allah Hafiz.